Hello everyone, and welcome to tie-dyeing with Miss Kate. Today we are going to be tie-dyeing our own mask. Looks like this, nice and white to get started. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have everything you need. In your kit you should have gotten 2 little tubs of dye, a little pipette, and your mask. You will also need something with a lip on it. I have a baking sheet, or if you can't find anything, you should do it outside where you can make sure that you don't get any dye on anything important. Also make sure you're not wearing great clothing just in case you spill something on yourself. You will also need 2 cups of hot water. It doesn't have to be super hot, but it should be hot enough to melt your powder dye, okay? It also doesn't have to be a full cup. The more water you use, the less vibrant your colors will be, okay? And as always, paper towels. So the first thing you want to start with is open up your little cups, and you're going to pour the dye into your hot water and give it a little stir. Okay. So I have 2 different spoons. You can use the same spoon if you want. And just be careful not to get the dye anywhere too crazy. You want to make sure you're also not using plastic cups. If your water is too hot, it will melt the plastic cup. I'm using coffee cups, so heat-resistant coffee cups. Or you could use little glass jars or something to that effect. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna leave those in there while they get set and put them off to the side just a little bit. You'll also need a couple of rubber bands, okay? There's 2 different ways you can tie-dye your mask. You can do the accordion style, which means you can fold it up like this. I don't know if you can see this, so we'll go this way. You go forward and under, over and under, over, under, over, and under. It's kind of so it squishes up like that, and then you put the rubber bands around it so it holds it in place. Okay, so you'll do it right like that. If you'd rather do a spiral tie-dye pattern, you're going to lay your mask out as flat as you can. It's not going to be perfectly flat because you have the little nose bit there, and you're going to kind of twist it from the middle. So you're going to twist it all around as best you can. So we're going to go this way actually, and kind of make a circle like this. Okay, it's going to get a little weird and you're going to have to finagle it a little bit, but you can get it in there. And then for this one, you'll just need 2 rubber bands, and you put one in this direction and you do one in the opposite direction. Okay, so since I have mine like that, I'm going to keep it that way. And if you want to, you can add 1 more rubber band so that everything's kind of connected there. And wherever you put a rubber band, the dye won't go. Okay, so you'll have little blank areas where your rubber band is. So you want to make sure to move it around and make sure that you don't have random spaces where you don't want a rubber band. Okay, so there we go. There's your rubber band area. Now, you're going to take your pipette and you're going to squeeze out the air first, put it in your dye, and soak up your dye, okay? And this is where it gets a little tricky because you want to make sure that your mask is completely soaked, okay? So you want to kind of squirt it on here. And you may not get there exactly. Now this color looks pretty black. I think it's actually green, but we'll find out when it's all done. So you do the whole section here. And then if you want to take a paper towel and just kind of tap your pipette out before you switch colors, you can do that as well. Again, be careful you're not getting it on yourself. And we're going to switch. My other color I have here is my blue. So we're going to move on to the blue. And you want to make sure that the fabric is pretty soaked with your color, okay? Because if it doesn't get all the way through, then your tie-dye won't actually be there. You can carefully use your fingers to move it around. I or you could get like a pencil or something so that you can move it all around. Flip it over, make sure you're getting all the sides that you want. Do a little more blue here. Okay, tap it out. If you want, you should maybe do one color before you switch to the other, unlike me, who's switching back and forth here. But when it's in the pipette, it shouldn't really matter. So you're gonna move it around. I think you can see my color's a little bit green there. Okay, so I'm going to use my pipette, and I'm actually going to try and flip this over so I can make sure I'm getting the other side there. Clean that out a little. And soak that up, soak it up. Okay, flip it over one more time. You can leave some white if you want to. You'll see the white in the middle there is actually my rubber band. Add a little more blue, see if I can get some in my green here. Mix my colors. Okay, and I did the whole thing. It doesn't take very long, it's not a very big mask. But what you want to do is you want to leave it to soak for anywhere from 2 to 24 hours. The longer you let it soak, the more vibrant your colors are going to be. So I'm going to leave mine overnight. Once I'm done, I will rinse it out with warm water in the sink until the water runs clear. And that's very important that you want the water to run clear, because then you can put it, you can wash it with some light detergent. I would not put it in the washing machine, especially not with other clothes, because it might get the dye on your clothes and your clothes would be ruined. So you wash it out first with warm water until the water runs clean, and then you can wash it with some light detergent. If you have this one is a little public service for your parents. If you have a ceramic or porcelain white sink, do not wash your mask in that sink. The dye might damage the sink. So you want to use either a stainless steel sink, or maybe do it in a bowl first and then pour the dye, pour the water with the dye in it outside or down a different drain. And then when you're all done, you'll see what your mask looks like, okay? I hope you guys have a wonderful time. As always, I want to see pictures when you're done, and happy tie-dyeing.